This is Buckley versus Buckley. One of the most frequent questions I get is, have you ever done a video about a topic and then later changed your mind? This segment will try and answer that question. Have I? Well, let's start with a video that would be extremely controversial if I did it today. But 4 years ago, got over 13,000 likes and has a 97.4% like ratio. It's dose number 222, Pride versus BLM versus the police. Over the last few weeks, people have found this video and commented the mimetic, "This didn't age well." I'm not going to play the entire video. I'll leave a link to it in the description, but let's look at a few clips that people are likely not too thrilled with in our current climate. Pride has evolved from that annual parade in your town that makes the Bible thumpers uncomfortable to a month of awareness and events, culminating in organized street festivals and parades all around the world. So during their visit, the Black Lives Matter group decided to stage a sit-in, stalling the parade for half an hour while they presented a list of demands to the organizers of Toronto Pride, effectively holding the parade hostage. And among their redundant demands to ask for more diversity in a parade that's full of fucking diversity was this one: removal of police floats in the Pride marches/parades. You see, Black Lives Matter are not fans of the 5-0. But instead of trying to start a dialogue with police organizations across the country regarding their beliefs that they're being intentionally targeted by law enforcement because of the color of their skin, they'd apparently rather go to war with them. Now me, personally, I think that's a bad idea to make enemies out of the people with the guns and the tasers. That maybe you'd try and do things that make the police see you in a positive light. Like, for example, not stopping a massive parade in the fourth largest city in North America to tell the cops you don't want them involved. The organizers signed off on the demands, but later admitted it was only so they could get the parade moving again, and that they may or may not implement any of their requests. So I have two questions. 1. Why would you want the police out? Because there are a few racist cops in North America and so all of them are bad? By participating in Pride festivals all across North America, not just running security on the sidelines, but actually waving flags in the parade, and in one parade a cop went and proposed to his boyfriend, aren't they showing, hey, we're with ya? I read something that said that BLM doesn't care if cops appear, but they should be out of uniform and not representing the police. But seeing them in uniform, having fun as humans is exactly what needs to happen. So, you can see where some of this would be a little controversial today. In the US, we've seen some incidents that suggest there are more than just a few bad cops. Obviously, the George Floyd incident happened, but that was just the tip of the iceberg, with people getting footage of things like cops walking through a neighborhood yelling, "Light 'em up!" and shooting paint at people who were just sitting on their own porches, to police incorrectly using non-lethal rounds to injure people, or in one case, macing a child. That kid was a big threat, was he? Once the footage of George Floyd's murder surfaced, police organizations across the US should have said, lay low, right? We need to show that we're not all bad. Assume you're always being filmed and be fucking have, okay? But then, they double down and go murder a woman who was sleeping in her own bed. Now, you know I've been a huge police defender over the years. But this last few months has just been day after day of, holy fuck, guys, no one can defend this. But the key is that all these incidents that I'm talking about all happened in the US. You'll notice that most of the examples I gave in my 2016 video are either from Canada, which is what this entire video was about, a pride parade in Toronto, or in the UK, in the case of the gay police officer proposing to his boyfriend mid-parade. Now, I'm not saying we don't have similar problems, but context is important. My video was about a pride parade in Canada. To turn around and go, oh, so this must be how you feel about the current situation in the US, is pretty absurd. Because yes, after watching this shit down south for the last month or more, it becomes easier and easier to understand why BLM groups don't want to negotiate. And the new debate is that cops acting human and participating in uniform is detrimental because it doesn't depict them accurately as the monsters they all are, which has led to things like cop TV shows being called out, like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, for example. Apparently, Andy Samberg's supposed to be tasing innocent civilians on the show to properly depict New York police. I still don't know that I agree with that, though. I think that there are lots of people who become police officers to make a difference in the community and who want to do good things. But I also think it's time for those good police to stop making excuses for the few bad apples and show that they are willing to weed them out. And there are actual criminals out there. I hope we haven't lost sight of that, right? Someone has to deal with that. However, let's talk about this part of my video. How is it different when Black Lives Matter interrupts a parade intended to draw attention to one issue to make it about their issue, and that's okay, but it's not okay for people to say things like, Black Lives Matter? What about other marginalized groups' lives matter? The answer is that there's no difference. This is the exact same thing as someone saying, never mind Black Lives Matter, what about Hispanic Lives Matter? Trump wants to kick us all out. You're saying, never mind gay pride, what about black gays and transgender people? What are you doing for us? And the answer is, the exact same thing they're doing for white homosexuals and trans people. But apparently, that's not good enough. If anything, this has been highlighted even more with the All Lives Matter people. BLM hates when people say all lives matter. And I totally get that, and I think that my video proves that. I'm very much on the side of pride in this 2016 video, as I suggest BLM shouldn't have stopped the protest to make it about themselves. Pride is about dealing with issues of the LGBT community, and for another group to come in and say, what about our issues? There's absolutely no difference between that and some other group going to a BLM protest to go, what about our issues? So I haven't changed my mind on that part of the video at all. Also, I just want to note that I came up with the term no lives matter well before body count did. As a nihilist, I believe that no lives matter. But I have a feeling that hashtag won't catch on. Although, I really do like that song and body count in general, so I'll give them a pass. Even if Ice-T once played a cop, so he's bad now too, but at least Ice-T's been getting made fun of for writing a song called Cop Killer and then playing a cop on TV for like 20 years now, so I think he's used to it. Overall, I haven't changed my mind about this video. I don't know if it's a video I'd do today. It's really serious, and even though I try and still talk about the odd serious subject from time to time, I try to be a little jokier about it. And like my only joke in that video was that no lives matter one. Even my ending line, which is usually ending on a high note, was this. Because equality apparently has nothing to do with building each other up so that they're even in society. It's about trying to knock each other down and make everyone feel shitty, marginalized, and angry. Yeah, that'll make for a great future society. So my only major criticism about this video is that I wasn't funny enough. Make with the jokes, old me. You're the music ranter. Make fun of music. But also remember, only make fun of music I hate. This video got released between a musical autopsy and a video making fun of people gatekeeping Pokemon Go. And hilariously enough, the Pokemon Go video has a lower like to dislike ratio. Telling 90s kids to shut the fuck up about new kids getting into Pokemon was more controversial on my channel than this very political video. What are you gonna do? But never mind the last 4 years, the last 4 months have shown us that there's some problems with police across the US, maybe across the whole world, and they need to work that out. I don't believe all cops are bad. This is the most optimistic your old pal Buckley gets, but they can't be all bad. But we're seeing more than should be definitely are. Because even though no one wants to depict police as human on TV now, they are humans. We trusted humans to not abuse the power we gave them. In the history of history, when has that ever worked out for us?